All right. Good day. Today's Thursday. I have the promoters and the CEOs of one of the biggest festivals in their state. At the upper left here is Bishop Grant, who hosts the Salsa in Hawaii, or what we call it, Salsa Congress in Hawaii. Did you ever change the title, Grant, or that's pretty much the title, right?
For our event that we've been doing for like 7 years now, it's always been under Salsa in Hawaii. I know there's previous salsa events like yours and Bacon's, which was the Hawaii Salsa Festival. So I know a lot of people get all the names confused, but yeah, ours has always been the Salsa in Hawaii Congress.
Yours has been consistent. I've failed. Salsa Crazy failed. Albert failed. Bacon failed. Yours is the only one who's continuing, and I applaud you for that. And then at the bottom is the CEO of the Las Vegas Super. You have to put that name Super because he has grown so much. Salsa Congress, and which includes now Rodchata and any other rooms. Nate Strager, how you doing, brother?
Good, how are you?
Good, man. So, guys, first question. Are we now looking at 2021 and not 2020 when it comes to our events?
Grant?
Go ahead.
Definitely. Go ahead, Nate.
So I don't think there's going to be a festival, a congress, a weekender, a pool party until at least summer of 2021. Even with Vegas, I'm thinking, I don't know. I mean, we just don't know. With all the studios shutting down, that means there's no more teams. These studios bring students. That's a big revenue for all of the congresses. So even if somebody does do something, I mean, nobody has any money. The unemployment's running out at the end of the month. I mean, everybody's used up vacation time. Nobody's rehearsed. I mean, who's going to set up an event right now? I'm not. I mean, 21 is on the books for me, but if it gets worse or stays the same, it might be 22.
You know, he's so right about that. What do you think, Bishop?
I'm agreeing with that. Same thing like he said, here in Hawaii, all the bars are closed, the clubs are closed, the studios are mostly closed. They let very small amounts of people gather, but there's no social dancing. None of the clubs are open. I haven't had any of my weekly events since March. So yeah, even if we did an event, nobody's been practicing, and there isn't any way to recruit new people either, because like I said, there's no social dancing, there's no weekly events, there's no way to get the word out that hey, come join us for some dancing. So I think weekly events might start up again towards the fall or even farther back like winter, but maybe smaller events could start next spring. But as far as like a big congress, it's not going to be till either late summer next year or even 2022.
What phase are you right now in Hawaii?
So in Hawaii, it's not really like phases. They keep changing like the rules and what's allowed and what's not. A couple weeks ago, they did allow bars to reopen, but everybody had to be distanced from each other. You had to have a mask on unless, when you come in and when you exit, you can take the mask off when you're drinking. But there's already been a couple clubs that they closed down because people were just dancing. It wasn't even like a nightclub event or a dancing event. It was just some people were drinking and they started dancing and they actually got shut down. And then just this Monday, the mayor said that bars can't serve, and restaurants also can't serve alcohol past midnight. So that pretty much closes like any bars, right? Stores are open back up, but there's no tourists, as I mentioned to you, and as some people know, if anybody comes into Hawaii, they have to quarantine for 2 weeks, for 14 days.
Yeah.
So nobody's going to come down because nobody's going to pay for a hotel room for 2 weeks that they have to just sit in.
Yeah, I was thinking of that because like Nate, he brings a lot of international artists, like the Italian artist. What's his name, Nate? He's very popular.
I bring a whole plane from Italy. I bring
There you go.
I bring Tropical Jam. I bring Full Project. I bring Pablito. I bring Adrian Sevilla Cortez. I bring Jessica. I bring a whole I bring a whole plane.
Yep.
But yeah, and I pay for visas. Like I do it the right way. I pay for O1 and P1 and O2 visas. And I mean, you're talking about tens of thousands of dollars.
Yep.
Down the drain. You know, that we lost for this year, possibly next year. And these visas are on a timeline. So they don't just say, oh, COVID's here, there's no events, we're going to give you an extra year. You lose that money. So yeah, we're pretty much screwed, but
yeah,
it is what it is. We're all in the same boat, right? So just
we are in the same boat. I've canceled all my events, including Isidra was going to be here because she's now the CEO of San Francisco Bachata Festival, including San Francisco, Reno, Hawaii, San Diego. It's pretty much gone. And Nate is right. Even 2021, because teams are not being organized, they're not rehearsing. That's where the money is, at least half of it, you know. And then considering the artists that are coming in, what's going to be the visa like? What's going to be the border like? Is the United States going to be allowed or allowed tourists to come in, or even workers to come in? So those are the questions. It's really been tough. I know that each one of you last year, your congresses really did well, man. I mean, I hear it from everywhere and all over the place. I see it on videos. What did you think? Did you ever think doing it online? Like I think Lee is about to do that online thing.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, wish Lee the best. For me, it's not for me. I'm working on something else, but hey, whatever keeps the ball rolling. You know, I know a lot of artists that are top artists, and they're doing Uber Eats. I mean, it's a dog-eat-dog world out there right now. A lot of people are doing UPS deliveries, Amazon deliveries.
Yeah,
I mean, we got to pay the bills, right?
You have to, especially most of us are doing. We're doing it full time. I admire you guys because I know Bishop, he has a second job. Nate, you have, obviously you're into real estate, you have the second job, not to mention the studios and everything, but it's just been tough for all of us. I did warehouse job, by the way. It was temporary, but you know, you would appreciate what hard-earned money is. So I got a question for you guys when it comes to, let's say the pandemic is over, everything else is okay, no restriction and all of that stuff. So it's time to hire artists. Do you basically, how do you research it? Is it by recommendation, or is it by popularity, or have you discovered them? How do you hire these people? Nate?
Grant, you want to take this one first? I've talked a lot the last few times.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
So a lot of our artists just come from, a lot of it just comes from referrals from people that we've already had at our events. We've had deep friendships with a lot of people. A couple of my business partners, Stefan and Emily, they're originally from New York. Well, Stefan's originally from New York, and they're trained over there, so they know a lot of the New York crowd. So they were able to bring like a lot of people from East Coast side, and just from a lot of people traveling to Hawaii anyways. Like we've just met a ton of people that we've always known. So a lot of it is just you know, a lot of referrals, a lot of people saying, hey, you should bring this person. Sometimes we do get, you know, just out of the blue messages of people who will, you know, ask us they want to come to Hawaii, they want to, you know, join our event, and you know, we get a bunch of that too. We don't do a lot of like, you know, going out and searching too much, just because all of us have other day jobs, and honestly, we just don't have the time to put into as much. So that's where we get a lot of our people. A lot of it is, you know, referrals. Every now and then, you know, if there's somebody new we hear about, or like, you know, there's some video of some people like nobody's heard of and it's trending, we'll go out and look for them. And you know, we'll start talking, but yeah, a lot of it is, like I said, referrals.
So do you categorize it as a headliner, second headliner, third headliners, pretty much, Bishop, as far as concerned, and do you budget it accordingly?
Yeah, we do have like, you know, like our headliners. Like this past event, we just had Eddie Torres Jr. as our headliner.
Okay.
And it did help, you know, having him. Like, yeah, we did have more people come with him attached as a headliner. But we don't typically do like the really big names, or like big teams. Like, you know, like we're not really gonna have like say Daniel and Desiree, or we're not gonna have, you know, like the really you know, big names like that. Not to say that Eddie isn't a big name. I mean, he is a good guy. But we're not the type of event to try to just load up all on celebrities. We prefer to have our event focus more on the experience, the atmosphere. A lot of people know our event as having like a really family vibe where everybody's just, you know, friendly and close to each other. Plus just the destination of being in Hawaii. Everybody
It's the
loves Hawaii.
destination itself, I
Sure.
agree.
Yeah.
Most of my artists in Hawaii, when I did it last year, didn't get paid salary. That was the agreement, because they'd never been to Hawaii.
Right.
So I only spent for food, hotel, and flight.
It's Hawaii.
Yeah, it's
And
Hawaii, bro.
who wouldn't want to go to Hawaii for free?
Look at right.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
I know. I can't. I'm dying to wait for Nate here, because dude, this guy's got headliners like he was just talking about the Italian people. You know. Go ahead, Nate.
So the question is how do I pick the headliners, or
how do you pick the headliners, second headliners, third headliners? You know.
Sure. So for me, I built these relationships over the past, God knows how many years, 20 plus years.
Yeah.
The Vegas Congress has been around for 17, 18 years.
Yeah.
So my relationships I try and make them as exclusive as possible, because I'm selfish like that. And I do that for a reason, and I'll be 100% honest, because there's a million events. There's a million salsa bachata events now, right?
Yes.
So nobody cares about my event. I mean, really, at the end of the day, nobody really, like other promoters, right? So I have to think of it as a business, right? What am I gonna have that nobody else has? For instance, Hawaii is Hawaii. I mean, amazing, right? I mean, you can't get around it.
Nope.
So with Vegas, I focus on being on the strip, the pool parties, and blah blah, right? So I focus on TG, and even with Yamule was going to Orlando years ago, and I said, look, you know, come to Vegas. I'll bring you every year till you die, but only Vegas 4th of July weekend. And I have that loyalty in those relationships. And the same thing that Grant said, I really don't care about how many Instagram followers you have or any of that crap. That stuff doesn't mean anything to me. I could care less how fat you're at, how
many followers you have.
Yeah, like how many followers you have, or how you look as a girl, or how you look as a man, or it doesn't matter to me. I only care about talent, period. I don't care about anything else, because there's a lot of amazing talent out there.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of amazing talent out there that isn't known, and I think it's really sad that know, because somebody's been around 15 years, you're still hiring the same names, doing the same thing. There's not a lot of effort there
Yeah.
from them anymore. They're just kind of like, you know, writing. So for me, it's talent. How many badass dancers can I put in one weekend without losing my house? That's all I think about. As long as I don't lose my house, how many, like the lineup, how many people can I put? Because here's the reason why. Not to be the biggest or the best, right? And I made mine the only Super Congress. Why?
Yes. Yes.
Not to have a big head and say, oh, I'm the only super. No, I just don't want to be, I just don't want to be another event like everybody else, right?
I agree.
So I have the competition. I have Salsa Nama. I have the pool party. I have a lot of places just have a Congress, right? So I think about talent, and the reason why I try and bring so much talent is because we all started dancing for the exact same reason, inspiration. We were all inspired at one point or another. We saw someone and said, wow, this is amazing. Like, I want to do this, period. So I bring as much talent because I want people to be inspired, and I want, whether you're an instructor, a director, first timer, I want you to go back to your city and be inspired and teach people your, you know, overflow your inspiration to others and make it grow, because I really want to make it grow. That's the main point. So
yeah. So there's an upcoming artist, been teaching probably here for 2 years, want to perform or want to teach at your Congress. What do? Does he contact you? And when he contacts you, what does he need to bring? Bishop first.
Well, like I said, some people do contact us just out of the blue. You know, they hear about the event, they want to join us. If it's somebody that's like really brand new, and they just want to come and teach and perform, and you know, if they're not super popular yet, you know, we'll bring them down. We'll still pay them for like you know, for teaching and everything, but you know, we're not gonna give them a free ride. Like, we're not gonna just pay hotel and flight to Hawaii and pay for a vacation to Hawaii, basically, just because somebody contacted us. You know, we're still doing it as a business. We still gotta make sure we recoup our expenses. But you know, if somebody contacts us and they say like they're, you know, they got this large team, or they got a couple teams and they want to come down, they got like 20 people committed that they want to come down, you know, then we'll have a different kind of negotiation with them. So it all depends on, you know, what it is. If it's, you know, or if it's somebody that that one of our other friends told us, like, hey, you got to check out this new guy, this new school. He's, you know, he's getting a lot of people. Then we'll go, you know, check them out. But like I said, it's still business. It's still all about recouping costs.
Everything.
You know, I'm sure you guys, yeah, and I'm sure you guys get it too, where like, you know, people contact you and they basically just looking for a free trip, you know, free trip to Hawaii, free trip to Vegas, free trip to wherever else, right? And you know, we usually end those conversations pretty quick. You know, and we'll be totally honest with them. You know, we're not gonna dish out like a few $1,000 for, you know, for a couple to come down and they're not bringing anybody and nobody knows who they are. Nobody else is gonna come, you know, based on their name. You know, at the end of it, it's still a business.
Yeah, that's the reason I asked you guys, because Hawaii is popular, so a lot of people want to go there. And then Vegas not only is popular, he has his biggest Congress and the best pool party. That's the reason. So Nate?
So I try and be as fair as possible. For me, the way I see things is, okay, I got to have so many on two headliners. I have to have so many on one. I have to have so many bachata. I have to have so many central bachata, and so on, right?
Right.
So someone contacts me and says, hey, I dance on two. I'm from Idaho. I'm the biggest thing in Idaho. Great. I'm super happy for you. You're doing a great job. Anybody that's teaching Latin dance, and making what we do spread through the world, I bow down to you. You know, it takes all of us, right? However, because of the level of headliners that I have, you have to be close to that level.
Yeah.
For me to shell out money, just like Bishop said, you know, like, okay, there has to be a reason. It's a business,
Yes.
right? So if people don't know who you are, great. Let's try and figure out, you know, and if somebody sends me a video and they're like badass, I'm always down to say, hey, I'll give you a room, I'll give you flight. I can't pay you because nobody knows you, as
Yeah.
Bishop said. However, after people see you this year, I feel confident, you know, we'll be able to parlay that into something else next year. But it's tough, and it sucks. That's the shittiest part of this job, is telling people no, because there's not enough budget, or, you know, the caliber isn't there, and they're really passionate about it, and they do it for a living. And, you know, how do you tell somebody like, I'm sorry, I just don't have a budget? You know, and they're like, well, I'm so-and-so. And I go, yeah, I get it. And I respect it, but I can't hire everybody. It's just impossible. And I have to make tough decisions. And I wish more promoters saw it as a business, as opposed to just hiring their friends and slapping them on a flyer and saying, this is the, you know, North Las Vegas Salsa Congress, you know, whatever, just as an example. So yeah, I think if you're up and coming, you got to pay your dues. We've all paid our dues. I know Rodney's been around for how long?
I'm 55 years old now. Let's not talk about it.
All right, so you've been around a few minutes.
There you go.
Bishop, I don't know how long you've been in the scene.
I've been dancing for about 12 years. Been doing like large events for about 8 years.
It's a long time. That's over a decade, right? So, you know, I've been doing this a few minutes when I had more hair. And so throughout the years, you kind of lose that. But we all got to pay our dues. I mean,
you guys still have hair, dude.
So. Oh my God, man, I'm losing my hair, and I got gray now and shit, right? So, but yeah, I think, look, we all got to pay our dues, whether you're a small event, a big event, a big guy, because like, let's take Osmar, right? Osmar, that's what he does full time. This is his job. This is his studio. This is how he gets paid. This is his retirement. You know, some people do it part-time. Some people do 2 full-time jobs. But for somebody up and coming, you have to pay your dues.
Yeah.
And if nobody knows you, like Bishop said, then how can you shell out a couple grand and expect the return on investment? Because for me, if I spend $1, I got to make $3 to $4.
I agree. I mean, we're spending money for you if you think about it. If you never have the popularity before, you don't have the experience yet, and you go there, you got to give us a reason why we would need to shell out money for you. For example, okay, you want to pay for your own hotel, you want to pay for your own flight, we don't need to give you salary. Guess what? We're still giving you a pass. And maybe we'll put you in the artist room where you could be fed.
Right.
You know, so that's still a lot of money there. What do you guys think of each one of us, whenever we have our festivals, we budget it, and we set a budget even before that, a year before that. Do you guys ever go outside the budget, over the budget? If you ever do, what percentage? And why? Is it a good reason why you need to go over budget? Go ahead, Grant.
Again, it all depends what it's for. If it's for something like, you know, bringing a big name down, or like, somebody said that they got some time now, they want to join the event. Again, we got to look at return on investment. We got to look at, like, is spending this extra money that we didn't plan for going to be worth it? So yeah, a lot of it is just how much your return on investment, and you know, it's hard to give like just an overall statement because again, it all depends. Like I said earlier, if suddenly somebody contacts us and says like, you know, we got a couple of teams, we got 20 people ready to buy tickets to fly down to Hawaii, then you know, we're going to be a lot more flexible, right? Than if it's just you know, just like a single artist that just decides, and not even artists, even if it's things like just equipment, just you know, new stage lighting, or new, you know, just some extra things to give to the people. Again, we gotta budget. You know, if it's really worth it or not.
Your win is getting stronger there, brother.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. Nate?
I go over budget every year. Every single year I go over budget.
Sounds like Vegas, man.
It's inevitable, right? In Las Vegas, we have union labor. Union labor is about $100 per person per hour on average. So if I want a plant moved, I have to pay 4-hour minimum for somebody to come in and move that plant. So when people like Houston has like 3-4 big bands, I'm like, how can you do that? Like, my labor alone is probably more than some people's festivals, you know? So yeah, I go over every year, but you know, look, I don't do this to I don't do the Congress to make money. If I did, I would be a lot, not smarter, but business, like dollars and cents. And not that I'm not dollars and cents now, but as you can see by the headliners and what we spend and things like that, it's really important for people to be inspired. It's so important. I know that sounds super cheesy, but
oh no, I agree with you.
I mean, I was married and my wife always said, if you put the time you put into real estate that you put into salsa, we would be millionaires. Like, I put so much time into it, right? So I go over every single year because I'm like, how many, like, I want people to walk out and go, this is amazing. Like, I'm so inspired. I want to go train. I want to share this with my students or with my team members or things like that, you know? So I go over every year, but I have a lot of deciding factors. I mean, my budget is like, my budget is over.
I don't even want to know, because this guy in Vegas, look, he knows this. I used to do Vegas. Oh my God. You're like mafia there, dude.
and you were at the Flamingo, right?
Yeah.
So,
No, not Caesar. No, what is it?
Harris,
yeah.
Harris.
That was the cheapest hotel, by the way.
Yeah, it's hard, right? It's super. I spend over $250,000 on my event.
Oh yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
Before I blink, it's $250,000, right? Whoa, shit. And then you guys have to understand, I have union labor. So shows go over or bands go over, and these guys are literally sitting there playing Candy Crush, and I'm paying $100 an hour.
And you were just telling me about the sound system and shit, that even the hotel would require you that, right?
Oh yeah, like it's the mafia. Well, you know, I mean,
God, no. Yeah.
You have to use this. You have to use this. And I'm like, okay, how much is it? I'm like, fuck, I could buy a system for the same amount that you're renting it to me for. I don't know if Bishop has the same problem in Hawaii or.
They're a little okay in Hawaii. They're a little okay.
It's a little bit like that, but not as expensive as Vegas. But yeah, a lot of it is still union stuff, and a lot of it is like, you know, oh, you want an extra table in that room? That's going to be like an extra $150 for this folding table.
Right. Just buy it, rent a store,
exactly.
and now you own it, right?
Speaking of buying, guys, did you buy your own floor yet?
I did. I actually built my own floor. I built 7,000 feet, and it's 5x5 birch wood. There was no way I was going to keep renting floor.
It's just, if you think of do you rent it out also, or you just keep it in your storage?
I just keep it at my studio. I have a warehouse.
Yeah.
So I don't know about Bishop.
You built it. You didn't buy it. You just basically built it yourself, right?
Yeah. So you can actually.
Fucking awesome.
They actually laser cut 5x5 birchwood sections, and it's pretty easy after that. You just kind of have the lips, and then it has to kind of float underneath. But you got to store it. I mean, I had to build these pallets and shit like that. And I got tired of renting floor. I got tired of renting sound and lighting and all that. I'm sure you guys go through the same thing.
Dude, you spend about 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, depending on the size of the floor and depending on how many rooms you have. These people are making money renting those dance floor, not to mention install it. Yeah, and I can only. You bought your own dance floor, right?
I was gonna say I can only imagine what he goes through because you're surrounded by water. So I mean, if it's not made there, what do you do, right? It's got to be super expensive.
Actually, for us, we do have a dance floor that we don't really use because luckily the hotel, the Sheraton, where we do our events, they have like really good dance floors, and they do all the work. They put it in and stuff, and we kind of get it all as a package with our ballroom.
Included in the contract. That's good.
You got lucky, man.
Yeah.
You got lucky.
Yeah. So luckily, like a lot of problem, like at our previous location, we would have to put in the floor, and the biggest hassle is just the time to do it and getting the manpower to do it. So yeah, we actually have this floor that we're not really using, that we're paying storage for. So if anybody wants to buy a floor, just let us know.
Not from Hawaii, man.
But yeah, any Hawaii people watching?
Oh, Hawaii, yeah, okay.
It's Hawaii, bro. You're gonna have to fly.
It's Hawaii. I forgot.
So shipping's kind of expensive. But
if you ship it, I'll buy it.
It's expensive to ship those.
I can imagine, man. I can imagine.
Yeah, like all the floor panels and stuff. It pretty much fills up like a whole pallet worth. It's a big stack. But yeah, it's like we haven't really been using it. So
really,
we're actually kind of looking to
Dude, I'll look up to you if I ever did a Hawaii again. I'll look up to you. I'll rent it.
All right. Sounds good.
But so with this, there's a situation in our dance industry about sexual assault, sexual harassment. How do you guys deal with this when you get reports during the event or even before the event? What's your feeling about it as far as hiring these people and whatnot? Because recently there was a scandal in Facebook, as you know. It was very well posted about a Kizomba artist.
Bishop?
Yeah, go ahead, Bishop.
We'll look into it, and again, it depends on what it is. But if it's if it's something that it seems like there's a lot of complaints, or if it seems like this guy, this person really did something, then we're not going to have them at all. We don't care how many people they bring. We don't care how popular they are. It's not worth it's not worth it. It's not worth the safety of our guests. It's not worth any kind of legal issues that come up. I'm not gonna take a chance on somebody and then get sued because something happened at my event.
How many rooms do you have at your festival? How many dance rooms, I should say?
We have 3 rooms. So we do a salsa room, a bachata room, and another room that's a combination of zouk and kizomba.
So you deal with those type of artists then?
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, like as I said earlier, our main focus is just the experience, just the whole vibe of our event being a nice, friendly family atmosphere. And, we're not going to have just creeps and dangerous people, even for our weekly events, my weekly nightclub events. If there's, there has been a couple people that, some things came up, and they're not allowed at our events, not even our weekly events.
So they're banned.
Yeah, they're banned. And we will look into it. If it's just like some, somebody just says like, oh, something happened, somebody touched me or whatever, then, and there's nothing really to back it up or anything, then we'll kind of see. But you know, if there's something serious, if there's like a police report or anything like that, yeah, they're gone.
Okay. Nate?
So I'm going to expand on this a little bit further, right?
Yeah.
I want to kind of put a reality check into our world. So I saw what happened with Manuel. Was it Manuel?
Manuel, yeah.
Big Kizomba guy. I'm not really into this world, so I'm really
Yeah.
kind of unsure. I mean, I know who he is, but just kind of through word of mouth. I think, you know, I think it's right and wrong. Like in my life, there is no gray area. It's right or wrong. Like, as you can see, I'm vegan. So, you know, I can't even hurt an animal, let alone support somebody that's, you know, sexually harassing a woman. So for us, there's absolutely no way on this earth that I would support somebody like that. However, it's a little bit further now. You have a lot of people in the salsa scene that are trying to be the salsa police. As of right now, we don't know. I mean, I know there was 3, 4, 5 women,
Right.
but we really don't. It's he said, she said. You know, of course, you want to believe these women 100%. You know, you want to be empathetic. If it's true, that's disgusting, you know?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we're not there. And we're in an industry where there's a lot of drinking, you know, with male and female. I mean, now, you know, everybody's in room parties and after parties. And, you know, we have to be respectful of adults. As a man, how can you take advantage physically of a woman, which most of the time is weaker? I mean, you're just an asshole, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
But women out there, you can't get caught up in salsa fame. It's not real. They're not Tom Cruise.
That's a good point.
Once you're in, you know, in this salsa world, oh, look at so-and-so and so-and-so, and they're so amazing. Great. Yes, they're amazing. But don't get caught up in salsa fame. That's what I call it. It's not real. When you walk outside in the real world, nobody knows who you are.
Yeah.
Nobody knows who you are, you know? And believe me, I've worked
Our
hard.
community is just like this, dude.
Super small. So respect yourself. As a man, as a woman, do what's right, do what's wrong. And if there's drinking involved, you gotta control it. Don't get caught up because this guy is this in the salsa or bachata world, or this girl or whatever. You know, I hate that side of it when it comes to our dance world. You know, I talk a lot about passion and being inspired, and this is kind of the dark side, the Achilles heel of our industry, you know?
Yeah.
And so it really aggravates me that people get so caught up in this person's my friend. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
I mean, is he a good person? I mean, is she a good person? That's all, you know. So you have a lot of people out there playing salsa police. Like, if you bring this person to your events, whether it's Manuel or Maria Ramos,
Yeah.
or all these other things now that are stirring around, you know, we're not gonna support your event. We're gonna put you on blast and blah blah blah. Well, I don't know who you think you are, but you don't run my business and you don't run my events. And for you to make a statement like that is just, I think you put yourself on this high horse, like we're supposed to listen to everything you say. And not that it's wrong or not that it's right, but if we're really gonna set standards on right and wrong, then we need to have like a committee that we all support and trust and recognize, and they have integrity, like Tito Ortos, Tamara.
Very good integrity, yes.
Karel. Like these people, you know, they have major integrity, you know?
Yes.
But it's the Wild West out there. I mean,
It is.
Everybody's out for themselves. Why somebody gets paid this at one event and this another, who knows? Nobody knows, right? So I told you it was going to be more of a broad answer, right?
Yeah,
But
no, it's perfect. It's perfect.
But I think this really opens the door to, one, we're adults. Two, you gotta be careful of the drinking. It's super important because you're drinking. we all get urges. I mean, let's just be honest, right? We're adults. We get urges. We are who we are, right? But you can't get caught up in the salsa. You can't do it. It's not real. I mean, most of these salsa performers right now are working at Walmart, you know? I mean, and that's not I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm just saying don't get caught up in it, you know? We do this because we love it. Those that are able to do it and make a living from it, you should be so thankful that you make a living and pay your bills from dance. And you should be like, just, that's a dream. That's like everybody's dream, right?
Yeah.
So to kind of go back to the point, I wouldn't support somebody, especially that is abusive or aggressive towards women or even touches them wrong. But you know, you go in the fucking bachata room or even the salsa room and they're grinding and they're closed. Had this girl lick my face one time in the bachata room, and I don't even dance bachata, right? And I'm like, what the hell's going on, right? So, but it happens, right? So then as a guy, you're kind of like, whoa, where's this line, right? Yeah. But you have to have integrity. You have to have integrity. And integrity is doing the right thing when nobody's watching, you know?
Especially with the pros, our colleagues.
It's just right and wrong. I mean, open the door for somebody. Just help the person that's in need or whatever the case may be, right? But yeah, 100%, I would not hire somebody. However, I think we're all becoming a little bit entitled to start saying, if you do this, I'm not going to do this, and that's going to affect your event. If that's going to be the case, we need to put a board in place that we all respect and is really going to set standards and guidelines and policies and procedures and et cetera, et cetera. So it's like Bishop said, right? He's like, well, is there a police report? Is there this? Is there that? I think that's a good answer because he really doesn't know. It's hearsay, right?
Yeah.
But when you hear something like that, like rape or something like that, man, my heart goes out to these women. I mean, you have to be empathetic. Like, oh my God, to have that feeling of that, you know, like you have this man. I can't even imagine how a man could do that, you know?
Well, in this particular case, we're talking about, it's a dance team member.
Yeah. I mean, you and the thing, I mean, look, I have a school, I have parents, I have moms, I have students, I have, you know, things like that. And I've had students and, you know, come on to me and stuff like that. And you have to draw that line. And it's hard because, you know, single parents, whatever, I mean, you know what I mean? But you have to have integrity. It's super, super important. So sorry to go on and on, but
I believe in the process. I agree with both of you, really. Look, as artists, we got to have the integrity and the responsibility. Because, my God, I mean, we have a very small industry, right? We're not as popular as Lady Gaga or what have you.
100%.
But in the amount of community we have, these people look to us. And shame on this artist that tarnish certain status in our industry like that, because when this happens, we're all affected. Whether it's a festival, whether being a teacher, or whether being a dance director, we're all affected. Are all dance directors like that? Oh, does this really happen at festivals?
People start to stereotype.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I like the idea of the committee though, bro. I would support it.
Yeah, I would support it too. That would take a lot of pressure off my shoulders. I mean, you know, you have somebody that's like setting a standard, but it has to be, but here's the problem. Everybody's going to have a different opinion of who should be on that committee.
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah.
Plus a lot of people think, you know, a lot of people also in the salsa bachata community, you know, like you said, they think they're big stars. They think they have a big voice. They think like, you know, they're the salsa police or whatever also. And you run into that as well.
Yeah, I'm not afraid to say, you know, don't tell me how to run my business. You're going to try and I'm not afraid. I'm not going to be afraid of any artist Because I know you've never heard from anybody from my event saying Vegas didn't pay us.
Right.
They treated us right. It doesn't happen. Even
Yeah.
if I lose my ass, everybody's getting paid at
Right.
the event, right?
Right.
So I know that I'm not worried. People are always gonna talk, you know. Oh, so you know it. Anyways, I'm getting off topic. So the point is picking people. So in my opinion, Tito and Tamara, Karel, fuck, it's tough, man. You know, you really want to get people that like everybody respect.
Yeah.
When they open their mouth, it's truth.
So two last questions here. So we're gonna go to the second to last. What would make you not invite an artist again that was in your festival, even though he or she did great?
That's easy. But go ahead.
Go ahead, Bishop.
Go ahead, Bishop.
Well, naturally, if there's any kind of, like you said, like any kind of, you know, criminal, you know, if something came up where like, yeah, some kind of, you know, sexual misconduct or something like that, definitely that's out. But just, you know, just how they are to work with, like if they're, you know, if it's
100%.
worth your time, if it's, you know, if they're just a total diva and expect you to like, you know, wait on them hand and foot, and you know, then, you know, it's, some people it's just not worth it. And it's not only just the money, but it's also the time and just the effort, and if they're just a pain in the butt, you know. So
While you're at it, what's your definition of a diva?
basically, you know, going back to that idea of thinking they're some superstar, thinking they're, you know, Tom Cruise, Lady Gaga level, thinking like, you know, everybody's supposed to serve them, and, you know, thinking they can just make up their own rules, change their schedule, or do whatever they want. Like, you know, if it's that much trouble, and if we can't do our job of running the event because somebody's causing so much trouble, it's just not worth it.
Nate?
True. So I'm on every side of this spectrum, right?
Yeah.
I'm a promoter. I have my dance company that's been around 21 years.
You're a dance
I get
director.
hired to go to events. I'm an instructor. I'm a director. I have 10 dance teams.
Yep.
I own my studio. So this isn't to be like, oh, this is this is to say I see it from every side of the spectrum, right? And I've been doing it not a few years, but over 20 years, right? So I have the same thing Bishop was saying, divas, the biggest thing. Like, I'm not going to go down and social dance, but only an hour. Excuse me? Oh, I had 5 privates today. Well, you got those 5 privates because I flew your ass down here. I put you up in a hotel. I'm sorry if you have to have, you know, certain food at a certain temperature, and et cetera, et cetera. I mean, come on. Are you serious? You don't want to social dance? It's social dancing. I love social dancing.
Yeah.
That's easy. Like,
Wait a minute. Do you include that in the contract, or it's understood?
I don't have contracts with anybody. Adolfo, microphones, full project, probably nobody. I don't have to. I just, they already know what's expected, right?
Yeah.
And they're good friends of mine, you know, but business is business. And I'm sorry, you could be Fernando's like my brother. I don't have to worry about him. He's there on time, does his job. He social dances 2-3 hours a night.
Yeah.
He knows, like, he'll come down at 1, he leaves at 3:30.
Yeah.
I see that. Great, good job. Osmar, the same thing, right? So being a diva, right? Like, excuse me, I'm not gonna drink out of the water fountain. You need to go buy me water. And I'm like, what? I just paid you $2,000 to teach 2 workshops and do 2 shows, which I respect you because that's why you're here and I spent that money. But you want me to run and go fetch you water? Who do you think you know what I mean? Remember, I'm hiring you. I feel like these artists feel like not only are we paying them, but because everybody's blowing up their head, oh, you're so amazing, and da-da-da, then when they walk in the door, we're supposed to bow down.
Right.
I'm an artist. somebody calls me and says, I need you to come, blah, blah. Okay, this is my rates. This is da-da-da. What do you need from us? 2 workshops, 2 shows. I need master. No problem. My team knows. Go change, get your shit on, get downstairs, and dance with everybody you can. Period. And why should you even have to ask somebody to social dance?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's social dancing, man. Are you kidding me? I'm not asking you to walk across coals to get to the ballroom, right? Like hot coals. I'm not. So I brought Terry, right? And Terry literally kicks his chanclas off right before he gets on the floor, and he dances 4 or 5 hours straight.
That guy social dance a lot, dude. Yeah.
I bring him water because I'm appreciative.
Yes.
That
Yes.
he wants to. I don't bring you water because I have to. And if because you think you have this salsa fame, I'm supposed to no, it's not gonna work. So I don't bring people. So for instance, I've had people like where they're coming from Australia and they're like, I'm like, okay, in order to help you, you're gonna go through Miami and then Miami, Las Vegas. Oh no. I won't fly into Miami. I'm like, why? I don't like that airport. Why? I don't understand. Well, you can go back to your country, wait 3 days, and then I'll put you on another 16-hour flight. Oh, that's just too much of my body. I'm trying to help you. You don't want to fly through a specific airport? Who are you? You know what I mean?
Specific airline, Nate. Not to mention specific airline.
Oh,
yeah, we had that.
Hit that, right? So I tell people, you want to fly an airline? I'm going to take the difference in my flight and the flight that you want and take it out of your pay, right?
Well, let me ask you this. Have you ever experienced artists requesting for a first class?
No, that I haven't. But I will tell you, and I actually do this too. Don't put me on Spirit or Frontier because that's just because I really don't think that plane's gonna make it. You know? And I tell them, you can take the difference out of my pay, but put me on Southwest or Delta, not because I have frequent flyer miles. I just don't fucking trust Spirit. You know, and I'm on a flight like this, and I'm 6'3", right? My knees are in my chest, and I'm flying 4 hours like zzz. Can I get a water? That's $3.
Allegiant. There's another airline there.
Like, I wouldn't put my worst enemy on Spirit, Allegiant, Frontier, right?
Yeah.
So as a promoter, I'm not going to put you on a shitty airline.
Fix your camera, Lee.
I'm not going to put you on a shitty airline, but don't give me this whole, like, I have to fly this and it has to be rewards and, like, no. You can stay home. I don't care.
Lee just came in. Lee, fix your camera. You're upside down. Can you hear us?
I can hear you guys now.
Okay. Your camera, you're like this, dude.
Oh, perfect. Sorry, I'm on my phone.
There you go.
I actually brought a wireless microphone to the beach and all.
Well, welcome, Lee. Lee is the promoter of the biggest festival, DCBX. It started as a Rodchata Congress, but as you know, as it evolves, and all of you know, you have to include a lot of rooms now. So everything from salsa, whatever. So he is the biggest there. He has the biggest pool party, just like Nate in the West. Lee in the East as the biggest pool party. So welcome, Lee.
Thank you, Rod. Nice to see you. You don't look a day over 30 like the last time I saw you.
I'll be 55 next week, believe it or not. Nate was just telling me he's just 21 years old and he's got good skin and all of that stuff. And
yeah, no, everyone's,
as you know,
no
he
one,
will never age. Look at him. But
yeah,
so you know
everyone in Vegas is 21.
You know Bishop, right?
I do. Yeah, I do.
Okay, so we were just talking about what would make a promoter not invite an artist even though he or she did great at the festival. And all of us concur being diva and all of that stuff. And we got into the definition of what being diva is. And Nate really got into it as far as, oh, you want me to fly you first class? Oh, you don't want to fly to Florida to go to Vegas? This type of thing. And social dancing, of course. What's your opinion on it?
Yeah, I mean, you know, obviously it's a fine line because, you know, a lot of times these stars that we all hire. Some of them are incredible on stage, but then, you know, they're not out there social dancing, or they're just kind of staying in their cliques. So, you know, I agree. I mean, if someone is a pain in the rear end, you know, with an event our size and like the events you guys are producing as well, it's just, there's so many moving parts. The last thing you want to deal with is someone that thinks they're like, you know, the Michael Jackson of bachata.
Yeah. The thing about it is, I forgot to mention this to Nate and Bishop. Guys, what about, because he, you know, Lee just pointed this out. What if they social dance, but it's only within their circle?
Well, I'll let
Do you consider that social dancing?
I'll let the other two talk first because, you know, I like to talk a lot. So
I haven't really had that issue, actually. I guess I'm lucky on that. But yeah, I haven't had that issue come up. So, I mean,
That's because you haven't seen it.
yeah.
Wait till you see it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if it did happen, you know, if we saw that like on the first night, then, you know, we'd talk to them, we'd let them know like, hey, all these other people, they, you know, they mentioned to us that they wanted to see you, they wanted to dance with you, and, you know, let them know. But yeah, I guess, I don't know, you guys would have to answer that one, just because luckily that hasn't really happened here in Hawaii yet.
Yeah. So everything else is okay. Scenarios, everything else, the pandemic is over. No more restriction. Is there any other things that you're doing now besides what you're doing now of a dream festival for you? What's a dream festival for you that hasn't happened yet, but you want to do it? Nate?
so I've been trying to bring Ruben Blades for the last 3 years.
Man.
That's
You've
been
got some
my
Hollywood thing too.
Yeah, so, you know, fuck it, right? So if I don't pay my mortgage, oh well. So I've been trying to bring Ruben Blades for like 3 years now, but
listen, you bring that guy, I'm there, man. I'm there.
I can't spend 100 grand. I can't.
Wow.
There's no way, like 100 grand plus flights, first class.
It's entourage.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way. Like,
wait a minute, Nate. Isn't that how much? What the fuck is it? Mark Anthony cost?
Yeah,
No.
somebody's bringing Mark Anthony. They're crazy. Either somebody's rich, or the government's giving them money because they're gonna lose their ass. I mean, not that I want them to lose their ass. I hope they're super successful, but realistically, I think all of us can agree that's $250,000.
Yeah.
Easy.
I
know.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say Romeo, because we've looked into it. It's, I mean, this was like 2 or 3 years ago, but it's like about somewhere between 400,000 to 500,000, and then the 25 first class flights, and then all the other bells and whistles.
Not
By
to
the
mention,
time you're done with it,
Lee, not to mention the writer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. On a production side. So yeah, I mean, it's tough for sure.
So wait a minute. So Nate, that's your dream. Ruben Blades in a good situation.
My dream to hear Plastico or all the hits. I mean, can you imagine Ruben Blades? Oh my God, I would sell my partner to get Ruben Blades.
I would feature the concert for 3 days, dude. Fuck.
Yeah,
do it in 3 parts.
Yeah.
Are you part of the AERC concert viewing? What do you mean? Well, you can get all 3 for the VIP Ultimate Pass.
Yeah.
Grant, what's your dream? What's your dream festival? Your own festival. What's your dream? Who's in it?
I can't really say like who's in it, but I'd just love to have like more parts in it. Like I'd love to have a big concert as part of it. I'd like to have a bigger, like, both a competition and a performance showcase. I just like to just expand and have it where there's just a ton of everything going on. Have it last a whole week, like basically one weekend stretching to another weekend. And you know, I'm not so much into like the big names and things, but I just would love to have like a ton of people, you know, just basically just having something just really huge.
You want to have more
But
features.
yeah,
You want to have more rooms, right?
yeah, you know, I'd love it where if it's like you know, like the event we're at basically has like four actually five big ballrooms. We usually use like 3 of the rooms. I'd love to just take like the whole floor and book the whole hotel and just have like, you know, have like a bunch of the restaurants be part of it, have a concert, all this kind of stuff. I'd just love to just have a, you know, a whole experience, and not just even being focused on salsa bachata dancing, but you know, if you're in Hawaii, we want people to enjoy being in Hawaii. We don't want people to just come and spend the whole week just stuck in the hotel ballrooms, you know. So I'd love to just have it like it's a true travel vacation experience.
Lee? Yeah, well, kind of on the line with Bishop. You know, we like obviously, you know, this will be DCBX 12 this year, even though it is going to be virtual coming up soon. But we, you know, we have a film festival that happens within DCBX which is in its 6th year, called the Global Impact Film Festival. There's an entrepreneur conference. 6 years ago, we did an outdoor street fest. Still. Well, the film festival, these are going to be separate. So the virtual for the dance side will be July 28th to August 2nd, but the film festival will be August 6th to the 9th, and the entrepreneur stuff we're probably going to postpone just because it's trying to master the virtual world and trying to produce something at a level we feel comfortable with is stressful, because as we all know, we've all mastered kind of how to work our own events and the hotels we deal with. But our goal has the last 4 or 5 years has been our goal is 100,000 attendees and really creating a citywide event. So kind of more of a South by Southwest, which for us, you know, will maximize the chance to bring like a Romeo or, you know, or Prince Royce or Mark Anthony, let's say, because we have the, you know, the Capital One Arena is literally 3 blocks away. Yeah. You have the convention center across the street. So that's the goal, you know, and then on an event producer side, it would be really cool to like make $1 million in 3 days and, you know, be like, maybe I'll just chill for a month or 2. Yeah. So, and more importantly, also to introduce more people to dance, right? Like for us, it's like, how can we get more people interested in salsa and bachata? And now, especially as we're in the midst of COVID, you know, it's going to be a lot harder for us to get people interested in dance when it potentially, you know, could be called a super spreader. So to me, food and music is the common denominator that I think has maximum potential on a funnel to bring people into the dance scene. So
yeah, I want to expand my festivals to not just dancing. That's one of my dream. You guys know the Arnold event, right? In Ohio, right? It used to be a bodybuilding event only, right?
Nice.
So now he branching into not only bodybuilding, you get into powerlifting, you get into fitness, you get into boxing, you get into martial arts. I kind of want to do that. I just don't want it. I want it dancing, but at the same time, I want it to branch out. That's kind of related to wellness. You know, if you know what I mean. Because let's face it, our industry, like Nate was talking about, is this little. If we could somehow branch that out and branch into other things so we could mesh it and make it into a mainstream type thing, it'd be really great. As far as my dream, I would love to have Romeo, Raulin, Mayembe, and Luis Vargas, the Debate T4, that one weekend. Fuck, man, that would be so good. You know?
Incredible. We actually just had Luis Vargas this year at DCBX, and it's funny because when you think about like doing right by the artist, that very first outdoor festival we ever did was with Luis Vargas, and this is 7 years ago, and we were still kind of learning the ropes. And to make matters worse, it rained, like not like like, I mean, like we had to put plastic bags on the speakers, and we had to pay Luis Vargas like the rest of his balance, which if my memory stands right, it was about $6,000. And the organizer of the venue, which is outdoors, comes to me and he's like, Lee, I know you're losing your ass right now. I think there's some lightning in the distance. If you want, I will call this event and tell everyone they have to leave so you don't have to pay the artist. And it was like this kind of pinnacle moment where, you know, it was like everything slowed down and I was pretty wasted because I was losing, we were losing so much money. God was going to kill me. And ultimately there were like 200 people like just standing there in the rain waiting for him to come on. And I'm like, we're going to pay him the $6,000. And he did the concert, and those 200 people stood there like with the rain pelting, and we lost a lot of money, but it was a beautiful thing. Yeah.
Nate, how many rooms are in your festival? How many type of things?
We do over 2,500 room nights. Between 2,500 to $3,000 is about where we kind of average. And then that doesn't, and that's just on our block. That's not including the surrounding areas, Airbnb, stuff like that. But again,
do you plan to book the whole hotel in the near future?
Yeah, so I mean, I have a lot of plans. I just can't really say anything right now. You know, everybody wants the same thing, and I know Lee came a little later, but we're all inspired we all do this for the same reason, and it's inspiration, right? So we all want to make it as big as possible, and it's, you know, you talk about having 100,000 people, the logistics and the money.
Shit, man.
To do something like that is ridiculous. And
yeah,
we can't get any big sponsors to see how big our scene, to see how big Latin dance really is. Even though Romeo Santos, and I'm not a bachata guy, as you know, but he's so huge.
He is.
Why do you not see the rest of the pie? You know, I talked to Sergio George. I don't know if you guys know who Sergio George is.
Yeah.
So I talked to Sergio George, and I was like, hey, can you get Mark to do something like salsero, you know? Yeah. He's like, no. Always for the women, always romantic, always. So the reason why I'm saying that is it's a business, right? Yeah. So I wish we could get bigger sponsors to help us. Like Lee said, he lost money. I'm sure Bishop has lost money.
I lost money.
Rodney, I'm sure you lost money. Yeah. We've all lost our ass, and it sucked. And we've all lit concrete to get by. But hopefully one day we will get those opportunities to make things bigger and make dance more prominent, you know, as opposed to some chick on Instagram with 4 million followers for showing her butt. Like, you know, I think we have something that is so good for all nationalities: white, black, Asian, Middle Eastern, South America. I mean, all of us. I think we're all different nationalities sitting. Is there anybody that's Latino that's here? I mean, no, right? I mean,
my wife's Latin. Does that count?
Oh, there you go. I mean, there you go. So we are all nationalities, and we're all pushing for the same thing, right? All for the same inspiration. So hopefully one day we'll be able to get to that point. So
I think we.
Go ahead, Lee.
No, I was gonna say I completely agree with you, Nate, because you look at, especially in the last 3 to 4 years, with the increased popularity of So You Think You Can Dance and Dancing with the Stars, and all these dance shows that are highlighting dance, and they have major sponsors, and it's been a struggle. Now I know for us in DC, I mean we have we've had a fair opportunity to bring in some sponsorships compared to what like the rest of outside of our niche are doing. It's peanuts. But for me, I was like, why don't we take the opportunity to say, hey, hey, you know, hey, XYZ sponsor, we're going to give you 10 to 15 of the top events in the world. They're guaranteed. These people, you know, they have their numbers. And then as opposed to us going after sponsors for 1,000 here, 2,000 here, 500 here, we go after these sponsors for 100,000 or 250,000 and say, you know, here's how the pie is going to be separated, right? This market has this percentage, it's worth this to the sponsor. And then we go at it collectively. Now, I mean, again, this could be a dream, but for me, it was like, at least there's a little bit more skin in the game. You know, the Dancing with the Stars is getting millions of views. I mean, they want eyes, they want people to see what they're doing, you know, sponsor-wise. So
with the attendance that you have, Lee, isn't it easier for you to get sponsors?
Well, it's been easier, you know, to be honest. It's been easier once we started to diversify what we brought to the festival. You know, when we emphasized not a dance festival, but a diversity event, when we emphasized educational sessions, when we found partnerships with the Mayor's Office of Latino Affairs and did, we have the Excellence Awards, which, by the way, every year we didn't do it to make money, but it lost money every year because, you know, we had to produce this award show and we had to give these really nice awards. And then finally last year, the Mayor's Office of Latino Affairs, I'm like, look, guys, I don't want to charge people, but we're a small business. Can you just sponsor the event? And they did. They paid for the event. And you know, and that was a great thing for us. Like, you know, we were always doing it for the community, but it shouldn't, as a small business, have to come at the expense of us doing it. But the point is the second we started kind of evolving, last year we did Sylvia Traymore, who's the first African-American female comic. We produced her 50 years of comedy. Monique was there, Academy Award winner. And this happened Sunday night from 7 to 9. And then like 30 minutes later, the stage was cleared and we produced our dance show. And it was nuts. But, you know, it's just, again, that diversification that I think, but like it, you know, they understand that. When you go to a sponsor, and I've had this conversation where like major players that get big names, and they're like, sponsors understand outdoor Latino festival one day. They understand that. They don't understand 4 days in a hotel with people doing like, they just don't, they don't understand the principle. And if they don't understand it, they don't want to put their money, you know, basically.
Nate, have you been approached by sponsors? Have you approached sponsors?
I've had a few sponsors in the past. I've had Corona for a little bit. I had it for like 2 years, but that was only because of a connection. Corona really didn't care. It was just a connection that I had. I've knocked on doors. I've had decks. I don't know if you guys know what decks are, but I've created decks every year for the last 15 years. Yeah. And I've hit up everybody you can think of as a big name corporation. And they all basically say, we really don't care. I'll tell you guys a quick story. Yeah. I had a meeting with the head of Latin marketing for McDonald's. She handles a $500 million marketing budget. Yeah. $500 million. Put that into perspective.
That's for their own disposal.
Yeah. Right. And so I got this meeting through a friend of mine who's in marketing. And she said, I got you a meeting. I said, I want to get McDonald's on board. I want to do this competition. I want to do this, that. Anyways, long story short, this is like 6, 7, 8 years ago. I have a laptop. I know my time is limited. I have like 10 minutes. And I said, here, look at this. It was Ricardo and Karen. I thought, who am I going to show her that's just going to like knock her socks off, right? Yeah. It wasn't about me or showing my team. It was about who can I like hit him in the face. Yeah. She saw 10 seconds of it and she pushed it back and she goes, that's great. How many social media followers do they have? And I was like, whoa, my God, I just got empty. She said, look, I'm Latina. I understand, you know, but at the end of the day, McDonald's is a top 10 brand in the world. If there was a piece of crap with a Big Mac in its hand and it had 5 million followers, we'd probably sponsor that piece of crap before we sponsor Ricardo and Karen, just because of the social media following. It was an untapped market, right? So trying to get sponsors is so hard. And I've had meetings with the Thurgood Marshall Fund as well, like the president. And I've been down those roads, but nobody respects us yet. And that's a huge yet. Because B-Boys, I have B-Boys in my studio. They took second in the world, and they're sponsored by Monster you know, blah, blah, blah. These guys, bicycle, skateboarders, they get millions of dollars. Why? Why are they different? And what we do, whether it's salsa bachata, salsa nama, whatever, we haven't been respected yet.
No.
You know, I have J-Lo show is here, and I've been trying to get a hold of J-Lo, and she has her, but it's all in who they know, and they feel comfortable with who they know. We're just kind of like bottom of the barrel, you know?
Listen, Nate, if you can tap into J-Lo, because she really loves salsa, that's your gate right there, bro.
I've tried, so I know the choreographers for her, Nappy Tabs, Napoleon Tabitha. I don't know them well. I know them a little bit, and that's another story for another day. But when what Lee was saying, Bishop, yourself, we all want these massive festivals with corporate backing to help us push, not just for that weekend, but for everything, for kids, for, you know, underprivileged kids, for, you know, just for everything. I mean, I know you guys can probably attest to this, but how many times have you had somebody with like social anxiety go to a class and their normal day is going to work and going home because they're so afraid to go outside? But if they go to a salsa or bachata class, I've had people cry in front of me and say, this is the first time I've touched another person that I didn't know in 15 years because I have social anxiety. I'm on Xanax and Percocet and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? So I think what we do is so important on so many different levels. And these corporations can't see it. And that's the frustrating thing. I just want to choke them, you know what I mean? And say, will you open your eyes and see what we're trying to do? Sorry, I go on and on about my shit. So, anyways, so trying to get sponsors, I think Lee's on the right track. I think there's a lot of us on the right track. We just got to keep plugging away.
Bishop, in Hawaii, don't you think that the Ministry of Tourism at least would even give an eye on you as far as the cultural event that you have is concerned?
We've been talking to them. So yeah, we've been talking to them, but yeah, I think it's, like you guys said earlier, what we do, you know, just the whole idea of a festival or a congress of people coming to a hotel for like, you know, whatever, 4 days and doing dance classes, it's so like different that people are just, you know, like whenever we tell people about it, like tons of times you just get this reaction, like, people do that? Like, is that really a thing? And it's just because it's like, you know, because they're not comfortable with it, that it's hard to get them to sponsor. So once it gets a little bit more, you know, more mainstream, once it gets a little bit more, you know, accepted, that opens up the doorway. But I think it's also, you know, we got to look at not just strictly the salsa dancing. Like here in Hawaii, there's a lot of, you know, native Hawaiian things, a lot of Hawaiian music, and we're trying to incorporate that too, Hawaiian dance, hula dance and stuff like that. So we're trying to incorporate that as well. Yeah. And that's a little bit more, you know, if it's more of a cultural event, I think they're a little bit more open to, helping us out and sponsoring, rather than this idea of people just showing up at a hotel and taking classes for 4 days.
Yeah. You know what's interesting? We've been talking with Daybreakers, and just because I don't know if you guys are familiar with Daybreakers.
I've heard about them.
But yeah, I mean they really blew up. They're in like 23 cities and eight countries. But anyway, making long story short, like when you think about what they actually thought to do, which was like, oh, okay, no one is in a nightclub from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. Let's use these nights, throw like a party with just, you know, vegan shots and like all healthy shit, and invite all these like, you know, kind of millennial zennial people out and throw these. If you mention that to a sponsor like 2 years ago, they probably be like, that's the dumbest thing I ever saw. I just got a text because I'm on their list. They're Zooming now for their parties. They have a free party sponsored by AARP on Saturday, and Gloria Gaynor is going to be performing. Like, I'm like, I mean, so I think there's a big opportunity for all of us. It's just about lighting that spark. And like what Daybreakers did, I mean, to me, like what they're doing, like if you kind of look at what we're doing, I think what we're doing probably makes a little bit more sense to a sponsor. Now, the reason why it's so hot is because they have the numbers now, right? They have the reach, they have the cities, and they have the social media. But maybe collectively, like I was saying before, we can do that by offering the top 25 festivals in the world.
So anyway, God. All right. We know that.
Sorry, let me kind of touch on that real fast.
We know.
So
go ahead, Nate.
In what Lee was saying, it's a great idea, and there's a lot of us that think that it's better to join together and get bigger sponsors because there's more of a appeal, right?
I support that.
Yeah, agreed. But as I was saying earlier before you jumped on, it's the wild, wild west in our community. Everybody's out for themselves. Everybody has their own opinion and how it should be, and you know what I mean? Trump, no Trump, whatever, right? Joking. I hate that one. So, but I can tell you in Vegas, I can't even get my own Latin chamber commerce to jump on.
There's such a mafia there, dude.
I can't even get them to come on board. So what Lee is saying is 100% what we should be doing, because it's what's of the benefit of the community to make it bigger for the long term. However, everybody is out for themselves, and it's just like they can't see past their face.
Yeah.
So I had to throw that in there.
I know that you guys are not going to have any online event except Lee. Well, where can they find you? If they have any questions, artists, your events, go ahead, Bishop. I know that both of you are probably going to leave, but I'd like Lee to stay, and we'll talk about the other things that he missed. But go ahead, Bishop.
All right, you can also find out information about our events at salsainhawaii.com or on Facebook, Instagram, anything. Just look up Salsa in Hawaii. Our email is just salsainhawaii@gmail.com. So yeah, just a easy search of Salsa in Hawaii. You can find out about us. We've linked a lot of weekly and local events as soon as we start having them again after COVID. But a lot of that information is on our sites as well. So even if you come to Hawaii and it's not during the Congress, we still got, once COVID's done again, we'll still have a bunch of stuff for you to do.
You got your socials during the week, Bishop. You got Sunday and then you got Monday, I believe.
Normally we have Sunday and Thursday nights. Yeah, but that's all put on hold just because, like I mentioned to you, because of COVID, there's so many restrictions. People can't dance. Bars can't serve alcohol after 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
All sorts of limitations. So like the nightclub industry right now is on hold.
Yeah. I'm jealous, by the way. The bird sounds there.
I know.
Fuck that.
I know. I hate you.
I thought I was going to be the only one in the eco park, but I guess of course the guy, I'm like, Rod, I have every day free. And then I'm like, oh crap, we had this beach thing. Anyway, so.
I would go outside, but I would melt.
Yeah. me and Nate, we're in the same state, man. We're in the same boat, dude.
Oh my God, it's so hot.
Nate, where can they find you? I'm sure they could find you everywhere, but go ahead.
Sure. So my Congress is Las Vegas Super Congress. Hopefully we'll be there 2021.
That's in July, correct?
July 4th weekend. Every July 4th, we have the competition, which is the Ultimate Latin Dance Championship. 40 divisions, 20 grand in prize money. We also have the Salsa Nama North American Finals. Yeah. And the winner goes to Milan to compete in the finals in Fernando's school in Camana. Then we have the pool party.
Job, dude.
Yeah, always. Oh, remember, I told you, always exclusive, right?
Yeah.
And then for Las Vegas, if anybody comes in, I have my school and event center. So it's rhythmslv.com. And, if anybody ever comes to Vegas and needs anything, my door is always open, whether it's finding a discount on a show or finding out where to go eat or whatever. We're all in this together. So hit me up. I'm always responsive. And Bishop, it was great meeting you. I've never met you formally. So thank you so much for your insight. And Lee, the same. I've never met you formally. And It was great meeting you guys and hearing your insight and you know how you guys see things.
We'll have this session again. So Nate, Bishop, thank you, gentlemen. I'll be talking with Lee now as far as the things that he missed. But
For sure.
we'll do this again.
Thanks for having me.
Hey guys.
Yeah,
Pleasure,
thank
guys.
you. It's been fun.
Bye
Bye,
for now,
guys.
guys.
So.
So it's just the two old timers now, huh, Rod?
I'd like to talk to you about the old days, man, because I was just chatting with Zeke, doing podcasts with Zeke, Ismael,
I saw that.
and
Yeah.
Joe Quinones, and we were talking about your festival because the first one and the second one, dude,
Yeah.
look, it wasn't as big as now, but those things were just unforgettable, dude.
It was, you know, I was talking with my dad, and everyone remembers the first year where we, I think we didn't meet the room block. We didn't meet a lot of things, but I know we didn't hit the room block. So the hotel basically was like, oh, by the way, you know, we're cutting the ballrooms at midnight, and I'm like, you guys got to be joking me. So, you know, I think we had maybe 300 attendees,
Yeah,
take something like that, and so, you know, again, just, you know, I think my years of being a magician, it's always like when something goes wrong, you have to, like a good illusion, try to continue doing your magic trick, even though obviously the elephant is hiding outside of the box. But I was like, all right, well, we're a mile and a half from the salsa room. Let me call up Franco and be like, Franco, I got these people. Obviously, they can't pay a cover because they already paid, but I'm sure they'll drink. Okay, he's like, sure, bring them. And then I'm like, okay, how do I transport 300 people a mile and a half with no budget? So, okay, we'll rent an 18-passenger van. And it was my dad's birthday weekend. And, you know, it was like a clown. For those of you guys that were there, it was like a clown car, you know, like 40 people shoved in, and they would just plop out. And it was so funny watching, you know, watching the people at the club. And I'll never forget, because as years have gone on, we've gotten better with obviously our team and having obviously volunteers. But it was Sunday, and it was like my boy Bobby had to go back to work. You know, my dad was like, you know, like he'd been on like a 12-hour shift. So I actually was driving the last shuttle runs from the salsa room. I'll never forget that. I was probably the least qualified person. I was obviously not drinking, but I was so tired that it was worse than being super intoxicated. And then the second year at the Gaylord, and we all, you know, that was
The
just
Gaylord, bro. I got lost in that hotel 2 times.
Yeah, that is a massive hotel. It was
I still have the
incredible
footage of the pool party, dude.
Yeah, remember that fountain? And yeah, I think that's why they didn't invite us. They didn't invite us back, because it was like, I remember Gabrielle was like, Lee, you know, I think I should do bachata porno in the sprinklers. I was like, okay, Gabrielle. And then, you know, I could see them watching, like one person, you know, slips, and there it is, you know, lawsuit, bachata.
Look, Lee, your festival and my festival, particularly the San Francisco one and yours.
Yeah.
This is hashtag facts. It had changed a lot of lives. I don't care what people say, whether they were just starting or whether they were already an artist for a while. It has changed a lot of lives, and to this day, people are still talking about it.
No, I completely agree. You know, it gives me goosebumps thinking about it, because, you know, I'm sure you've had these times, and like Kat and I, you know, you sometimes, it's a lot of work, and you know, to attesting to what Nate was saying, you know, it's like, hey, why are we not getting those $50,000 sponsorships, you know, $100,000 sponsorships, and we're giving something that is so incredible back to people? But then you start hearing those stories of people like Riel and Chloe. You know, they came to DCBX and saw Willem Engel, who we brought from Holland, and that was their first experience. You know, Henry was doing hot salsa hot back then, and that was his first experience seeing Zouk. You know, and then Ashley Kent, who has District Zouk in DC, saw Henry teaching, and you know, and then you start looking at this, and it's beautiful to you know, really think, and it's true, and I want to thank you, because, you know, Reno and then San Fran, you know, if I hadn't seen those events in the flesh, you know, and you know, we were number 3, but I feel like if 1 and 2 wasn't there, you know, it's always easier when you can see something done and then say, hey, wow, like this is not. I mean, it still seemed impossible, and as we all knew at that time, where you were begging DJs to play bachata, it was impossible. But I want to thank you guys because it really gave the stepping stone for what we started in DC.
Look, I haven't forgotten you guys, Lee, Jorge, Elizondo, Jorge Contreras, Leslie.
Yep.
Those people that were there in Reno. I already knew that when you saw my Congress, your brains are already rolling, because I know, you know, you have this creative mind, and you were one of the first magician who ever performed at Bachata or Salsa Congress doing
yeah.
Nobody would ever forget that.
Yeah.
So you have a new hotel now, and you're doing this online thing.
Yeah, so we have a great partner in the Renaissance Marriott. You know, we're actually locked for our New Year's Eve event, which has really become successful, and then DCBX in August through 2026. So once COVID moves through, we'll you know, we're going to continue continue there. But the Renaissance is a great partner. You know, their brand mantra or their motto is like live life to discover. So we really found a home there, and they, you know, when we asked them like, hey, can we do a welcome lobby party? You know, they're like, yeah, that sounds great. You know, when we have the rooftop events, it's, you know, this probably better than anyone. A hotel can make or break the event, no matter what your vision is. I don't care who you are. And anyone that's a new person in the scene that wants to start their own festival, I have kind of 2 jokes. One is, I'm going to start a course. It's $1,000. You'll pay me $1,000. It's an hour phone call. And in that hour phone call, I'm going to try to convince you not to do it. That's what I'm going to do. And if you're crazy enough and you have the passion and the drive to be like, you know what, F you, Lee, I'm doing it, then you probably are the right person. Because more than likely, most people that try to start these events, they're not doing it because they're actually doing it to be someone. And those are 2 different things. And then my second big life lesson after, and we've switched hotels, we've switched hotels 4 times, but now we've been at the Renaissance for the last 4 years. And you know, so we will be at the Renaissance, let's say about 10 years. The point is, in my opinion, anytime you switch a hotel, it's like starting over again.
Absolutely.
Because you don't know what you're walking into. And I don't care how much you have your shit together, they pull that fast one, or someone is like, oh, well, we don't do things this way. And there you are, like, you know, so that relationship with the hotel is one of the most important things, for sure.
I agree with you about the relationship of the hotel. The people that does different hotels every year, not a good idea, because this hotel will not trust you. You have to build trust. You have to build relationship. They have to treat you, and so that they can treat you as a partner, if you know what I mean. You know.
Yeah. And I think
it's all about the revenues.
Yeah, and exactly, and also for an attendee, like I understand, like Moshe, when he does his cruises, it makes sense. Like, you're on a ship, you're going to different ports of call. So yeah, that should change. But when you come to a city, if it's a hotel that's a great experience and things are working, like, you know, people kind of like, it's an experience they remember going back to, and it makes, you know, makes life easier. So for us, you know, back to what we're doing, you know, this year we're, you know, we had canceled DCBX in August a couple months ago. You know, you know, most importantly, beyond the money, our attendees, our staff, artists, instructors, our family, you know, my mom, my dad. I mean, you know, our event is like a lot of our events are you know, our family is there, and God forbid, you know, someone gets sick. So we saw that and said, you know, we are, if there's even, you know, a chance. The problem with COVID right now is it just takes one person. And I know there are festivals saying that they're going to try to do their events live, like in the beginning of the fall. I mean, we're trying to potentially do our event in New Year's, which now you know, 3 weeks ago was looking like probably 60-40. Now I think it's like 30-70 that it's not going to happen. But it just takes one person, and it's so hard to protect that amount of people. So, you know, we right now are becoming masters in the virtual game, and I think we are going to give people an incredible experience for DCBX Virtual 12, which is happening July 28th to August 2nd. We have an incredible lineup, over 35 workshops in salsa, bachata, zouk, and kizomba. Headliners, bachata like Cornell and Ritika from India. We have Adolfo and Eddie Torres, the Mambo King and salsa. Incredible zouk, Mark and Melissa from Brazil. For Kizomba, we have Afro-Latin Connection. So it was kind of, in a way, cool, because we're like, holy crap, like we can afford Adolfo and Eddie Torres at one event. Like this is great. And these artists are really, you know, excited about being able to do something different. So the platform is super cool because people will be able to kind of click what room they want to be part of. And we're excited about doing something different. It is a challenge, I will tell you that, because we, like I said, I mean, I feel like we're not only walking into a new hotel, but I feel like we're also learning like an entirely new dance, which is, you know, a virtual production.
What's the website? What's the website?
Yeah, so they can, you can go to dcbachata.com, or you can just go to dcbxvirtual.com. Our Instagram is at DCBX events. When we get back up and rolling in DC, we have an incredible quarterly party at the Eaton Hotel, which is a great venue. We also do a Thursday night there that's free called Muevolo Muevolo, which is in their rooftop beautiful lounge. We had a Sunday at Lucky Strike. Lucky Strike closed after COVID. That was a 12-year run at that venue, which
Wow.
is incredible. But Hard Rock has already picked it up once things open back up again. So yeah, we still have some tricks up our sleeve. And New Year's, if we can't do it in person, we're gonna have the coolest virtual house party New Year's Eve Latin event that will be coming to you guys as well.
What's your feeling about this latest scandal? Because we were talking about, when you were here, we were talking about the sexual harassment, sexual assault.
Yeah.
What's your feeling about this? You know, we were talking about, yeah, we want hired as people, but then at the same time, you know, we are also leery with the cancel culture. You know, yes, we speak for this woman, we support this woman, and we want hired as people, but at the same time, the cancel culture can't tell us what to do, because it's not their business, it's my business. I'm the one spending money, this type of thing.
Right. Yeah, you know, I think you know, we have always felt very strongly about safety. You know, we've used a text help now short code literally the last 3 or 4 years, just in case someone felt like they were, you know, in a position where they were uncomfortable. And ultimately, I think the most important thing that we have to remember and learn and continue to really pinpoint is, yes, we are a community. However, imagine a community of, you know, 3,000, 5,000, 1,000 people, and you know a couple of them, and there's these rows of houses. That doesn't mean you just walk into anyone's house because they're in your community. That doesn't mean that there isn't people that are, you know, not there to do, you know, good things, or, you know, whether it be sex offenders, whether it be people that are, you know, looking to take advantage of someone. So while we are a community, and while obviously we, you know, I would like to believe that most people that are there for the right reason, you have to believe that they're there because they want to, you know, be there for the right reasons. And it just goes to show you that you just never know. I'll give you a minute story. This was when we were at the Hilton. I had a student of mine. He was in his 40s, older guy, a little introverted. He said he was dancing on the dance floor with this girl, and she, you know, kind of, and he was really conservative. She kind of moved his hand down, and he was like, and she was like, oh, do you like that? And he was like, oh, you know, cool. Like, and then she's like, all right, well, let's go get a drink. They go up to her room, and so I guess he goes to start kissing her, and she's like, that'll be $300. So I was like, oh my gosh, are there prostitutes paying like $50 at our festival
So that they can make money. Yeah.
so they can make money? And I'm assuming from, you know, and he was just like, oh no, I'm like, he was like, and I know he told me, and he was that type that I believe his story. So this is both sides of the aisle, like, you know, and people just have to be safe. I think if you are an instructor and you've done something in the past, you know, or done multiple things in the past that that you know are wrong, in today's culture, there's no hiding things. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, come clean. You know, do the right thing. I think, you know, while the cancel culture, in some aspects, is actually turning into you know, if it's not this opinion, then there's no opinion. And I don't agree with that. I mean, I think, you know, this is still the United States of America. You still have a choice. As a business, we can refuse admitting anyone for any reason in any code of conduct, you know, and that's just like just about every other business. So I think people should still have opinions. It's just about, you know, what we believe norms, and instructors should never take advantage of anyone. And you know, I don't know if you guys mentioned who it was, and I don't, you know, I know there's multiple cases,
Manuel.
but
We mentioned Manuel.
okay.
Yeah.
So I have heard a personal story from someone close to us about him, and it you know, when I heard that story come out, it didn't surprise me. And that's the thing that I think we're starting to learn. When you're starting to hear these stories and they're coming kind of to the surface, I kind of feel like this movement is going to take the ones that really need to be exposed out of the equation. But then I think there are some occasions where people are going to be, you know, maybe accused in a way that maybe, you know, just be malice. And it's like, hey, you know, so there are multiple things, you know, just because you don't say anything doesn't mean, you know, everyone has their own opinion to, you know, deal with things their own specific way. So it's not perfect, and you can't make everyone happy, you know?
No, it's not. But what I like about this process that's evolving, though, if you remember a couple of years ago or even years ago, you know, certain women that are survivors, I call them survivors and not victims, comes out, but they're anonymous. They will not name the person, or they will have their friend post their what happened to them and whatnot. But in this particular case, it's evolving to a fact that most survivors now are brave. They have this courage now. They're not afraid to name names. And in my opinion, for me, that's a very good progression. And the reason they're doing that now is because I think that us in the industry supports them. We listen to them. We're not going to block them. We're going to listen to them. We want to know what happened, you know. And so I like the progression that's going on right now. And I hope that more women will have the courage to do so, because as a psychologist, I know for a fact that PTSD will never go away.
Yeah. No, it's very sad. And I think, you know, you know, it keeps me awake at night. And Kat and I are, you know, it's like, how can we just continue to remind people to respect one another, but ultimately to realize, like, you are in a hotel, this is not your house. And you just have to, you know, you have to be smart and try to do your best. And we have to try to do our best to keep our attendees safe. And I feel like this movement of empowerment for survivors is something that is a great thing, because, you know, and this may sound terrible, but for some artists that is thinking of maybe making that mistake, and whether they're under the influence or just an idiot, you have to think they would say, wait a second, like, you know, this is not, you know, like, think about it. Why do why are there signs in stores like security surveillance? You know, why is there a police presence? You know, if there's 2 police officers at an event with 300 people, you don't think you can overpower 2 police officers? Of course you could, but it's the essence of feeling like people are watching. And I feel like all of these perpetrators to our events should realize, you know, now people are watching, the world is watching. So, you know,
it's more
you have to really,
than ever.
yeah. And you know, these individuals need to get help, and I think they're going to be routed out faster than ever. So that's a great thing, I think, for our events moving forward.
What's your criteria of hiring an artist? I know you have the headliner, you have the sub headliner, third headliner, blah blah blah. What's your criteria in that, and how do you find them? Do you seek them? They seek your what? Recommendations or what?
It's a combination. Over the years, and I'm sure, you know, just like you, I mean, there was a time where we were all traveling every week and on the circuit. And then there comes a time, you know, we move, you know, a lot of people don't know this, but we have 2,000 silent headphone units. We do silent headphone events. You know, we have New Year's, and we have other things that we do just as entrepreneurs, because I think in our fundamental, we are entrepreneurs. So I have brought in kind of experts in the Zouk community, in the Kizomba community, that I know are connected to that community, and they're kind of our eyes and ears, you know. And they District Zouk, Ashley Kent is incredible. She's in DC. Obviously, she started dancing at our event and found Zouk through our event. So
yeah,
I would guess
Ashley's a great person.
She's a great person. She's very honest, and she and she loves Zouk, and she's done an incredible job. I really think the DC Zouk community is probably the top 3 in the U.S. by far, and it's really, you know, we planted the seed. I will take that, you know, kind of tap on the shoulder, but you know, just because you plant a seed doesn't mean that you need someone to continue to water that seed and take care of it. Now that I have a garden, we have this COVID garden, 20 by 40. I use garden. Yeah, we built this garden, my boy Ramsey and I, and it's incredible. It's been really, it's been spiritual. I mean, I love cooking. I mean, I'm releasing some hot sauces actually in October, but I love cooking. I love creating. And anyway, so I was like, I want to do something that was really kind of green in a way. So I built this garden, and it started as a small little plot. Now it's like 20 by 40 feet, and we have squash and tomatoes and eggplant, and it's just, you know, in the beginning, I just threw all these seeds because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And then in my garage, took them out for the sun, took them back. And then all of a sudden these plants start growing, and I'm like, holy crap, they're all in this pot. I probably should put them in those little pots, which is like, you know, and then you take care of it like it's a child. It's bizarre, but anyway, so Ashley is like, you know, she handles the Zouk. Alex in DC, DJ Mysterio, he is our kind of eyes and ears in the Kizomba scene, and has helped us, you know, get some great Kizomba artists over the years. And then, you know, salsa, we have Go Girl Rush. So, you know, Earl, each other, until we realized we were the 2 hardest working guys in the scene in DC. So we kind of joined forces. We were in this dance competition together in 2002. He was like the older black guy doing flips, and I was like the skinny white guy doing flips, you know. And we both lost the competition, by the way. But we ended up we ended up both realizing, like, wow, you know, instead of competing against each other, like, why not do events together? And what a lot of people don't know is the very first DC Bachata Festival had a small salsa room. You know, the idea was always like how we can kind of create like a buffet. Yes, bachata is the main dish, but, you know, hey, you want to start a bachata, kizomba, salsa, you know, and for bachata, you know, we still try to keep our eye in the game. So I know that's a long answer. So we use that, and then of course, you know, we do kind of mix, you know, artists that we think are influencers. You know, I mean, I gotta give a shout out to Dejan and Chloe. Like, I am never on my feed without seeing a video of them. And I mean, they're everywhere, and you know, they are just like, they're great artists. They social dance. You know, they have passion, and they're just always on Facebook. You know, so
you know, I like Dejan's progression, man. The way he grew.
oh yeah,
He didn't want to embark into that dancing teaching yet until he was ready. So he went to all the conferences. I've heard Dejan from Carlos Cinta, of all people. You know, I've never heard of Dejan before. And then then he found this partner, Chloe, which, you know, she's phenomenal as a Zouk artist, and now she's really versatile. And yes, you're right. Like, when it comes to Instagram and Facebook, my newsfeed, they're always there.
You can't, you know, I'm like, if I have to see Dejan and his sauce one more time on my damn feed, but then I'm like, you know what? At least he's, you know, he's keeping, you know, the energy up, and you know, so we love having them, and you know, and then there's always the artist that just reaches out and they're persistent, and I appreciate that. I would not be where I am without Kat and the foundation of what we do together. But I am, you know, she will tell you I'm probably the most persistent person she knows. And a lot of times you need to be persistent to get things done. If people say no, you know, it's like, well, how can we work together in the future? And there's certain artists, in essence, there's moments where it could get a little annoying, but I'm like, wow, you know, it reminds me of a younger me, and I appreciate that. And those artists that are like, you know, we want to come, we want the experience, we're already coming to DC, not the artist that's like, you don't know who I am, you don't know anything about me, I don't have any social media numbers, but just pay my flights and my hotel.
You're still gonna spend money.
News flash, you know, if you're coming like internationally, that could still be $500 or $600 times two, and a room for three. Like, hotel rooms aren't free. As organizers, we may get one free room for every 40 we pay for. Now do the math.
Pretty much, that's a standard.
$150. Now you sometimes can work on one for 30 or one for 35, but I mean, my point is like, you know, so these rooms are not free. You know, nothing is free at a hotel
need to realize
besides the water, and
the hotel room.
Yeah, they haven't figured out how to charge. Yeah, they haven't figured out how to charge us for water. I always joke with the Renaissance, because in the contract we put in there that the ballrooms had to be at a certain level, because I hate hot ballrooms. In fact, we have a joke at DCBX is like, we dare you to sweat, because it's like, you know, we chill the ballroom out. It's maybe slightly uncomfortable during the show, but until 8 o'clock in the morning, it's cool. But every year I see the Deer Park truck come in, and they bring in like, I mean, you know, those jugs, and we never run out of water. And I'm always like, I should just buy some stock in Deer Park, you know, a week before DCBX, because, you know, they bring like four giant things, trucks of water. But, you know, I think artists that are flexible artists, and in our exit surveys, you know, people kind of are like, you know, this artist really did this or this, or, you know, you start to hear the negative, and then you kind of make your choices pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's like, you know, like SFIBF, you know, Isidra took it over 2 years ago. I think the very idea that I gave it to Isidra is, look, I've been in the industry for a while. I would never thought Albert Torres will die, bro. I would have never thought Albert Torres would die, not to mention David Melendez and Choco in New York, you know, and they died doing what they were doing, you know, organizing. And I don't know.
And you hope that's like, I don't know if it scared you. I was like, maybe this is a coincidence.
Scared the shit out of me.
It's not. Yeah.
And so look, if I ever die, one of my legacy is SFIBF. I want that to continue. And I couldn't think of any other person than Isidra who would even do better doing that. And now she's really doing better doing that, you know? So my hat's off to her.
That's beautiful. Yeah. Well, that's beautiful. Yeah, you're still keeping it in the family, so that's important, and moving forward.
You know, I've been married with I've been together with Isidra for over 13 years, man. You know,
wow.
You know how it is. You met us in the fucking first Congress.
Yeah.
Oh, she's still dying to go to
Reno.
DC, by the way.
Yeah, well, whenever we're back up and running again, we gotta get out to San Fran because we
Oh
haven't
no,
been back for a
we
long
haven't
time, and
forgotten. We got plans, bro. We got plans.
yeah, we'll call it the Bachata Forefathers tour.
You know what I love
Uh,
about Jorge? You know, I know we were partners on the first San Francisco and Reno, and we've always butt head because we have differences of opinion, different of
sure,
goals. Just like I had with BB, we had different goals. You know,
sure.
we remain friends to this day. He supports me, I support him. I love that guy. I always worry about that guy. You know,
Yeah.
you're one of the person I haven't forgotten. I will, you know, whenever Tony and I talk, we talk about you also. You know, you remember Tony Lara.
Oh yeah, I just saw, I know the thing, knock on wood, he's all right after
You got
that
into an
car
accident or
accident.
something, right?
Yeah, he got knocked pretty hard. So luckily he's all right. He didn't break anything, but he
But you
looked.
guys, you and Kat are doing okay. Aside this pandemic thing, you guys are doing okay, paying bills and all of that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing well. We have we've taken our corporate diversity programs and
Good.
turned those into virtual. We have, I don't know if I have one here, but we actually, this is a sneak peek, but we're launching Mask Mundo. So we're actually
Nice.
branding our own masks. They fit very well, and
I love
and
it.
I kind of feel, I mean, obviously we're not Ford by any stretch of the imagination, but if you look at World War II, major car manufacturers started building missiles and tanks, and we are in a war right now, and right now it's an invisible war. So it's like, hey, what we can do to help, also with branding. So obviously you don't have to buy one that says DCBX on it. You can have it have whatever you want on it. So we're diversifying. We have the hot sauces coming out in the fall, which is going to be great. We have 2 new courses, Flirting on the Floor, which, as you remember, was like
That's your brand. That's your
my
brand.
very first, yeah, and I haven't used it for like 10 years. Like I have the domain
Even
and
the
yeah,
magic, even the Magico was your brand. Sammy stole
yeah,
it.
yeah. He just, well, I actually gave him that idea for that
Okay,
nickname.
there you go. That's good.
So yeah, I actually also gave him Bachata French Kiss. That was my idea too.
That's
But
good.
I won't take the rights for it. I love saying it. But anyway, so Flirting on the Floor, Kat and I over quarantine shot a course, basically a living room date night. So it's really for new
Nice.
people. And again, it was for us. How can we bring new people into the scene? Or like, hey, your wife dances, but you don't, or your husband doesn't dance and you want him to get interested. So it's 21 simple moves in merengue, bachata, and salsa. So that's on flirtingonthefloor.com. And then I had to do something for my fellow gringos, and the term gringo doesn't just mean white. It actually is, the definition is someone who is not Latin. That
Right.
right? So
Right. Yeah.
so we are all gringos. So the other course is called Gringos Can Dance, and really it's really just the
I love
basics,
it.
salsa, merengue, bachata,
You come up
but
with
how
these
to build
creative
confidence.
ideas, man. I love it. I love your creative ideas sometimes. Like you come up with
Thanks,
these.
man.
Good.
Yeah, so gringoscandance.com. So, we've been diversifying, and yeah, I won't lie. I mean, we probably lost close to $40,000 to $50,000 in live shows and our weekly events. But, I will say this, one thing for anyone that's watching this, unless Rod doesn't put it up. Are we live? I don't know if we're live, but
We're not live yet.
yeah. So the thing for me is, like, for anyone that's watching this, you can't in this industry be a one-trick pony. And what I mean by that is like, only like, I don't know what the percentage is, but I would guess a 0.5% to 1% of artists can ever just be an artist and make a living doing that. So if you think you have what it's got to be that 0.5 and 1%, go ahead and go do it. But if you know that there's someone that's going to work harder, that's younger and will work harder, and there's always someone younger that will work harder. It's the matter if they'll get the opportunity. Then you have to figure out how you can diversify your portfolio and figure out what you're good at, what your gift is. You know, what is your God-given gift, and that's what you have to exploit. And it took me a while to figure that out, but I'm like, I'm an ideas guy. I don't always see things through. That's probably something, my weakness, but Kat is there to help me organize that. Yeah, and you know, and now I have people in place that, like, I have all these ideas, and I'm like, you know, we're just two people. Like, we can't market 6 different things because I thought floating on the floor and Gringuito can dance like all the dancers buy it, but they're looking.
Hey, Lee, hold on. Hold on. Can you pause for a little bit? Pause for a little bit. Lee, pause for a little bit, okay? Hold on.
We got a ton of sales.
Pause for a little bit.
But this is a new market. These are people that are like, hey, it's like.
Okay, Lee, the signal is weak now. For some reason, you're coming out as I can't hear your voice clearly. Hold on here. I'm gonna have to, let's see here. All right, hold on, Lee. You're gonna have to re-sign on because you're getting cut off. All right, we're gonna wait for Lee, guys.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. Let me see if, okay. For some reason, I see you now, but it's just a shadow, Lee. I can hear you, but it's just a shadow. So try to get out first and then come in. But anyway, guys, that was really a good talk with the promoters of Hawaii, Las Vegas, and DC. You know, they were pulling no punches, as you know. So it was really a good chat here. We're just gonna have Lee back here just to say goodbye, proper goodbye and everything. And let's see if I can put him back again. All right, he said he can't come in, but let me see if I can invite him back. Okay, let's see here. It does seem like it's not, yeah, he's having a hard time coming in. Let me try to put him again here. Okay, guys, I'm just gonna wrap it up because, yeah, when I removed him, he wasn't able to come back. But with this session, we're gonna end it as far as the promoter session, CEO promotion is concerned. We will be back with same subject, but this time we're gonna be talking about the ins and outs of promoting and all of that stuff. But for now, don't forget to click and subscribe, okay?